All right, good afternoon, Houston, or wherever you're tuning in from. Could be from anywhere, but wherever you are, good afternoon. So this is the resource roundup with me, Reyes, where in about 20 or so minutes, you're going to find out some really, really useful information regarding upcoming deadlines for grants, residencies, fellowships, all that good stuff, so that you can get access to that money, to those opportunities, to those resources. And so if you aren't familiar with Fresh Arts is a nonprofit arts organization based primarily out of Houston, Texas, that does just that. It provides resources to artists, including things such as knowledge sharing and skill building and community building, all that good stuff. And so this is one of our channels in which we let people know about upcoming opportunities and resources. Because we want to see artists succeed, and we want to see you succeed if you're watching this. And so whenever you think about going to grant writing or going into applying for opportunities, hopefully this will be the show that'll help you immensely in that process and journey. And so speaking of which, in terms of events and stuff that we really want to let you know, because we think you'll gain a whole lot of knowledge and opportunities from, is the Fresh Arts Summit that is coming up. It's coming up in about 2 weeks, and trust me, it's been something I've been working on real hard on, and I wouldn't push it if I didn't believe in it. And so what I want to do is I want to go real quick through the schedule and why you should register for it, and then I'll get to the quick deadlines. So just bear with me. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me get to it. All right. And so what I'm hoping you'll see is the Fresh Arts Summit page, and that is the exact dates, June 4th and June 4th through 5th, 2021. But I'm going to let you in a little secret. We're actually going to have content pre and post. And so even when you register for the summit, you're actually going to get stuff a little bit before and long after. So really signing up for this, you're not signing up for just 2 days. You're signing up for a lot of content that we've curated and built and created with local artists to really get you those skills and ideas and things that are going to fit with our theme. And our theme is Next Directions, as noted here. And we at Fresh Arts really discussed what does it mean to kind of be a creative and artist in this climate of a lot of tumult, a lot of change, a lot of things that are happening. And so we know that the arts has fundamentally shifted, right? There's some things that just perhaps aren't going back to normal, even though we may want to, right? And so we really want the summit to focus on next directions, on where do we go from here? We don't know the immediate future. We don't know in terms of, reopening things and the safety of those decisions and all that stuff. But what we do know is that the arts has always adjusted. There are plenty of artists, there are plenty of creatives who have done the work to shift their practice to adjust to these new circumstances. And so the next directions then is for you to decide. And what we hope the summit to be is to be a congregation of artists, professionals, arts administrators, all that good stuff, to kind of talk about approaches that they've learned from, to share knowledge and information that they learned during the pandemic, and maybe ways that you can take into your common practice. And so it's going to be more focused on how do we think about what to do next in our own practice. And a really, really cool thing is that we actually do a registration fee scale of pay what you can. And so you can pay $5, $25, $50, because we know artists are still facing financial instability. And so we know, not everyone has access to, the $50 registration. That's ideally what we want, but we also understand not everyone can do that. But we still want artists to succeed, and we still want them to access the knowledge and resources that we have. And so I think that's a really great thing. And then another really cool thing that we're going to do is we're going to have captions. Y también vamos a tener subtítulos en español. Y so si quieres acceso a la información en español, lo vamos a tener. Pero now what we're doing is recording. We're doing all that good stuff. And it's going to be a mix of pre-recorded and live content. You can see the schedule here on this handy dandy Hey Summit platform. And you can see as we build more, of our site, we're going to have our panelists and more information announced. But some really, really great stuff is coming up in here, such as website best practices and tips for enhancing your online presence. How do you make a really good website, right? As a creative, we know Squarespace, Weebly, all that good stuff is there, but what really are the fundamental building blocks of what's going to make a really good creative website for you? We're also going to have virtual platforms for creative projects. We're going to have discussions on artists that went into podcasting, virtual exhibitions, and performances, and what did they learn? And maybe something that you can learn from and take with you as you move forward. Then we're going to have a panel talk on making art in chaotic times. We're going to have artists who, have done work or who have done things outside of their usual work because of the pandemic. We're going to have a should I or shouldn't I behind the scenes podcast recording on collaborations, right? What does it mean? What should you do? All that good stuff. And finally, we're going to have a panel discussion on equity for artists of color in Houston as we think about how do we build a better Houston? How do we build a better community in a post-pandemic world or during, right? And how do we build that community? And we have invited people who think about that a lot. And so it's going to be really exciting stuff. And then in the middle of all this, we're going to have a keynote. We're going to have art breaks where we commission artists to give really quick tips on things that they learned just for you. And they're going to be short videos, all that good stuff. So it's going to be really exciting. And again, you can also look at our schedule here and get like a quick overview and get a quick breakdown here. And so again, really, really great stuff that you should tune into and tap into. All right. And so please register for the summit today, whenever you can. Again, it's a really great deal, and it's something we've really worked hard on. So with that being said, register for the summit. And then now here are the deadlines that are coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. All right, so the first deadline that's coming up that I want to talk about is the 2021-2022 Emerging Critics Fellowship by the National Book Critics Circle. They are seeking people who want to be in the next generation of book critics. Criticism actually a really important aspect of any arts ecosystem. If you're going to have artists creating, you want people talking about that art. You want people to develop thoughts and ideas to share about your work, right? And so supporting critics is a really, really integral part. Maybe we don't like the idea of critics, but I'll tell you again, like, how else do you get people to think about your work? And how do you get people to look at your work? Is you get critics to get engaged with your work. And so it's a really cool program. This is due Friday. It is free, and you get mentorship and some access to resources, namely the National Book Critics Circle, which, if you don't know, they're really, really good, and they're they're a very prestigious body of critics. So again, if you want to be a book critic and be better at it, this is a really cool opportunity. Again, this is due May 21st. Up next, we have the Texas Pride Impact Funds 2021 Community Grants Program. And so Texas Pride Impact Fund, what it does is that the organization provides grants to organizations working on certain issues that affect the LGBTQ community. And so here, one of the things they do areas to support is arts and culture. And so you have to be kind of working with an organization. So fiscal sponsorship comes up. And so if you're a fiscally sponsored artist or group or project, this is your chance, and really apply for this. And grants can be up to $10,000. They won't exceed $10,000, but it can be up to $10,000. And so, yeah, if you're fiscally sponsored or you have a fiscal sponsorship partner, definitely look into this. This is due again Friday, May 21st, which is tomorrow, I believe. Up next, we have some internships for Society for the Performing Arts. They're looking for a development intern and a marketing intern. And the really cool thing about this is that the internship is expected to be about 90% virtual, which again, I think is cool in its own way, because it is kind of adapting to a new kind of situation that a lot of organizations and companies are probably going to be taking on. is evaluating who is virtual, who needs to come in, and all that good stuff. And so I think this is an interesting time to kind of enter the arts nonprofits sector. So this is due Monday, May 24th. Up next, we have the 2022 Airy Residency Program. So this is a cool program that, in essence, they pay you $4,000 to go live in the Everglades National Park in a fully furnished and air-conditioned room. So I think that's a really cool deal. It's interesting. If you ever wanted to just live in really close to nature and create art, and so again, and get paid $4,000 for it. I mean, you do have to find your way there, and you do have to provide your own food, but everything else, you just need to find your way there in terms of flying to Florida or get to Florida, get to the park, but everything else they'll do. And so they'll pay you $4,000 for that. And I think that's kind of cool. It does cost $10 to apply. Not the worst application fee, but it is there. And so you look at you can look at what you receive and all that good stuff, and they're very liberal in terms of who can apply for it. So check it out. I think it's a really cool, neat program, especially if you want your art to go into a more nature bent. Up next, we have Houston BCycle Art Station Call for Proposals. This is due Friday, June 4th. If you don't know, Houston BCycle are those kind of stations where they provide bikes for you to rent in certain neighborhoods. You can see it. In this case, it's Houston's East End. And so in essence, they want you to decorate or paint, or essentially, paint and design a BCycle station. And they will have the specifications. If you click on here, you can do that. It's free to apply. It's Friday, June 4th, so you got some time, and the winning design will be given $3,000 in addition to materials being paid up to $1,000. So they'll pay for the materials, and they'll pay for the labor, $3,000. So if you think that's worth it, definitely apply to this. I think it's a really cool, neat public form of art. So check her out, Houston BCycle Art Station. Up next, we have Austin Film Society Grant for Feature Projects. This is due June 4th. It is free to apply, I believe. And what this is that it provides grants for filmmakers who are working on feature projects. And it goes into, for example, over 40 minutes. That's how they define a feature-length film project. And it has to be kind of in development, in any phase of production or development. And so you can look into, I'm not a filmmaker, but I can sense a good deal when I see one. So I think this one is a really good chunk of change that they're going to offer. I think there's different scales. And so definitely check it out. If you're a filmmaker and you need that money to finish that project, here it is. So check it out, Austin Film Society Grant for Feature Projects. Up next, we have the Midtown Hue Arts Micro Grants. This is due June 6th. And what they're doing is Midtown Houston, they have a committee that takes project submissions from artists or arts organizations for forms of public art to be done in Midtown Houston. And so one thing that they've done in the past is mural. They've done a really great mural, or rather this grant has commissioned that. And so a total of $50,000 will be distributed to applicants. $25,000 will be given in increments of $5,000, $8,000 to organizations, and then $25,000 will be given to artists in increments of $2,500. So as an individual artist, you can get $2,500 to work on a cool project that addresses any of these issues through any of these mediums. And so again, if you want to get a $2,500 grant, this is a really cool, fairly simple application, I believe. So check it out, June 6th. And then on June 11th, on that deadline, we have Common Field Convening 2021. Common Field is a really cool, neat conference gathering that focuses on arts and creatives to discuss very, very pertinent and topical issues. This one is called Sustaining Futures. That is the theme of this convening. And so this one is really interesting. And I think even for participating, if you get in, rather than you paying the conference, they pay you a $250 honorarium. So I thought that's really cool. Usually when you go to a conference, you have to pay to go in there even if you submit and get something accepted as like a panel or whatever to present at the conference, you still have to pay the registration. But here it's a really cool $250 honorarium. So if you've got some really cool pertinent things that you want to talk about in regards to art in this context, definitely check this one out. This is due June 11th. All right, and then we're coming to a close almost, but on June 11th as well, we have the 2022 Vilsack Prizes for Creative Promise in Dance. This foundation will award 3 Creative Promise Prizes of $50,000 to young immigrant artistic directors, choreographers, and performers. And they actually provide a cool video. I'm not going to play it, but you should check it out. And you can find the qualifications. And again, it's an unrestricted cash prize of $50,000. So if you're a dancer, not born in the U.S., not older than 38 years old, and you identify as any of these positions in the dance realm, absolutely apply for this. It is 50 grand. And so you can't lose. Well, you cannot get the money, but you can't get that money until you apply, right? And so definitely check this one out if you're a dancer and identify as an immigrant dancer. So please get that 50 grand, and I will sing about you if you get that 50 grand. So please check it out. And then finally, we have the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft Curatorial Fellow 2021 to 2024. So Houston Center for Contemporary Craft, they're a really cool space near, I think about like Montrose, Midtown area, Museum District, kind of like in the middle of all that. If you haven't been, check it out. But they are looking for a curatorial fellow to assist the curator to develop, execute, manage exhibitions. And so if you're a young curator and you're looking to get that experience, this is a really cool space that does that. And this is due Monday, June 14th. And you can look at the specifications. You can look at more of the stuff that you get if you are awarded this fellowship. So check it out. And there you go. So hopefully you saw some opportunities in there that you were going to apply to, that you like. If you ever apply to any of these things that you see on the resource roundup, let me know. I like to know when information that I provide is useful and that people can use it. Do a shout out in the comments below if you find any of this useful. If you're going to apply to anything, we would love to know. Also, because we have a grant proposal writing toolkit. And again, if we ever get a lot of feedback, we definitely want to delve deeper into these topics. And so if you have any worries, questions, or you just want to support, please drop a comment, and we love to read those, and we love to know that we're helping artists and the right people. And so again, check out the Fresh Arts Summit, please. We're working really hard on it. We know you're going to get a lot of good stuff out of it. And then please check out everything else. Sign up for the resource newsletter that goes out this afternoon. We're going to see more deadlines. And so that wasn't all the deadlines. That's only like enough, right, in terms of to fill these 20 minutes. But check out the opportunity board. There's tons of opportunities there, much more as deadlines come more in June and July. So check those out. Thank you, Kuma. Yes, of course. Yeah, apply to that, get that money. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thank you to Natalie on the back end, who is providing all these awesome graphics that you see. Shout out to Angela, my coworker, my colleague, who's also working with me on the summit, who's leading that. And thank you for watching. So see you around. Good luck. Get all the money. Let us know. See you around.